All right, guys, today we're going to talk about our last text organizational structure, and that is question and answer. So, question and answer text organizational structure is exactly what it sounds like. It's one that presents a bunch of different questions about a topic and then provides a bunch of detailed answers to those questions. Some things that follow this particular text organizational structure are documents like interview transcripts. Right? So if you read the printed out text of an interview, obviously the interviewer is going to ask the questions, the interviewee is going to answer the questions. Frequently asked question pages or FAQ pages online, or research papers can be structured in this particular way with questions and answers. Some things to think about when you're reading a question and answer article. What is the central question of the article? So, what is the main thing that this article is really getting at more than anything else? What is the answer to that central question? What evidence is presented to support the answer? So, what facts, what figures, what details, what statistics are being provided to support the answer? And then how does the structure of the article help to answer the central question? So how does the way that the article is laid out, how does the order in which different questions are addressed help to answer that one big overarching question for the article? Sometimes when you're looking at an article and trying to understand the relationship between the question and answer structure, it's best to look at information that is presented and then think of a question that is being answered, because a lot of times articles will just give you information. They're not necessarily going to ask a question in black and white text. So here's a quick little passage we'll look at, and in your head you can kind of think about, what is a question that this information is answering. For example, MSA's dogs begin building their vocabulary of suspicious odors working with rows of more than 100 identical cans laid out in a grid. Ingredients for the basic chemical families of explosives, such as powders, commercial dynamite, TNT, water gel, and RDX, a component of the plastic explosives C4 and Semtex, are placed in random cans. In addition, urea nitrate and hydrogen peroxide, primary components of improvised explosive devices, have joined the training regimen. These odors are imprinted on the dog's brain by constant repetition and reward, Pavlov style. So after having looked at that passage all about how dogs are trained to sniff for explosives, what would be a question that this information would answer? Well, looking back at the actual passage again, we see the underlined part: ingredients from the basic chemical families of explosives, such as powders, commercial dynamite, so on and so forth, have joined the training regimen. These odors are imprinted on the dog's brain by constant repetition and reward, Pavlov style. By using that specific part of the text, we know that this is how dogs are trained to sniff for explosives, or how they're trained to sniff for bombs. So some questions that might be applicable to this particular answer is, how is a dog trained to sniff for bombs? Or what specific parts of a bomb do dogs smell for? So looking at those questions, looking at the answers, and then developing a question that this answer is answering. So our first assignment is going to be a question and answer article. You're going to read the human rights article in the week of 525 folder on Schoology. It's in the question and answer folder. You want to open up the questions and answer worksheet after you've read through the article. And then in the column on the left side of the Google Doc, there are 8 questions in total. You're going to jot down all of those questions in that left side of the article. As a hint, the questions are in the headings of each section of the article. So pretty much every single heading is a question. So that's what your questions are going to be. I think there's one that isn't a question. You can just rephrase it to make it a question. And then in the column on the right, provide the answers to each question addressed in the article. These answers can be found in each corresponding section of the article. So if one heading is a question, the answer to that is going to be in the section underneath that heading. And then there are 2 questions at the end of the Google Doc as well, quick things that you can answer, and then you'll be good to go. If you have any questions, please email me or reach out to me on the Google Hangout.